So this is what I intend to cover today. So we will be, we have tasted the flavor of IDE. So we will be continuing with that today. But the focus is going to be more about getting into understanding the whole big picture of how things work. Okay, so I'm going to spend a little bit of my time making you understand how life is going to be for you, as a Selenium automated tester. And it is better the sooner you, try and understand how things are, the better it is, because you would be able to start using them and producing some nice scripts. Okay, the ultimate goal here is, the motive or the objective of you being here is you want to become an automated tester. So if you want to become an automated tester, basically what you got to do is you have to understand how you're going to be producing those scripts, how you will be creating those scripts. Okay, so what are you basically going to test? You are going to test, let me see, you are going to test some applications. So, forgive me, I'm not the best, artist. As you can see, there's a proof of it. I cannot even draw my line straight. But on the piece of a little slate-like a thing that I'm drawing on, it is a challenge. But anyway, so imagine that this is your application that you are going to test. So application under test, and this will be running on any one of the browsers, right? So we really don't care if that is going to be my Internet Explorer, or if it is going to be my Google Chrome, or if it is going to be any of those browsers. So basically, what are you supposed to do? We will eventually have a test case that we will be working on. So to start with, you and I, we should have a test case. And then once we have a test case, the test case is our objective that we have to meet. So the test case could be about testing a particular feature or a functionality of the application. So what can be a functionality that you have to test? Well, that is your test case, or that is your user story. So it could be anything. Now, what do you mean by anything? You can't say anything. What do you mean by that? Well, as we have been discussing yesterday, depending on what application it is, let's say if I have a shopping cart application. So if I'm going to Amazon.com, right? If you go there, what are you doing right now? I'm searching for something, right? So I am actually looking for, let's say, I want to have like a Windows Surface Pro 2, right? That's what I'm kind of like looking for it, because I want to give it a shot, because I have pretty much all the gadgets except this. So I really want to try it out. So I just searched for it. Correct? I searched for it. I typed, and then, as expected, it is showing me anything and everything about Microsoft Surface Pro. Okay, good. Now we have a choice. Now, if you take a look, if you scroll down, there are hundreds of them, right? Okay, so I will look into it, like what I'm looking for. Probably I'm going to go by the price, because you could sort it out by price, or you could sort it out by however you want to. So right now, let's say I want to go for it. So I click on that, right? So, and next thing is I'm going to add it to the item, add item to the cart, right? So while I'm adding the item to the cart, I will say that, well, I'm going to buy 2 of them. So I'm buying 2. Immediately as you do 2, things over here change. It's also adding the shipping and whatnot. And then eventually it is going to add it to the cart. And as it is adding to the cart, it's popping up this box and saying that, hey, do you want to add any coverage to it? Right now, I don't want to. I believe in the product, so I have added 2 items to the cart, right? And the next thing that I want to do here is I want to go ahead and Do I want to change it, edit my card? Yeah, I could go ahead and then change that and say that, you know what, let me buy 3, right? And then proceed to checkout. And when I'm proceeding to checkout, it is asking me to enter my email address. And so what if I'm not a user of this site? Well, I can create. I am a new customer, so I could go in here and I say that I'm a new customer, and I could put my information in there, TR online trainer, let's say 777 at gmail.com. And now I could continue with it. I'm a new customer, and sign in to the secure. So if I do that, it is asking me for my name and da 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 da, right? So that's my whole test case. So I am manually doing it right now. Now the idea here is if I have to automate and then test it. So in order to automate and test it, so this is the site which we are talking about, right? So the site is that I am testing is going to be, let's say, Amazon, or it can be any site. So we have a site that we are going to test. We have to select a browser on which we are going to test. And my test case is whatever my test case is, right, which is the shopping cart, right, application or part of the functionality of that I'm going to test. Eventually, what I have to do is I have to go ahead and then do this testing using Selenium. So in the previous class, we have mentioned that Selenium comes as IDE, as RC server, and as your web driver, right? So this we talked about. And you very briefly saw how IDE works. I made you download IDE. I made you, do things in IDE, and then we got started with that IDE. So what I am going to do is we will continue a little bit with IDE today, maybe for the next 5-10 minutes. But we're gonna actually go into the next topic, which is either RC server or WebDriver. Now, I did mention to you a little bit about RC server. RC server being deprecated, not new development is happening with RC server. So we can either skip this topic, or kind of like postpone looking into RC server and jump on to WebDriver, and then come back and then learn about RC server sometime during this course, or either I can take it as a session, as a class, or I can just ask you guys to refer to the videos and then look into that. So we will discuss about RC server as we progress in the course. Right now, I'm jumping onto the WebDriver. So now the question is, okay, we have understood at least to whatever extent about what IDE is. Now we need to worry about what is WebDriver, what is Selenium WebDriver, how do we use it, and tell me a little bit more about so that I can understand that this is Selenium WebDriver, this is how it is used, and this is how I am going to use it. All right, since the topic is going to be Selenium WebDriver, I will talk a little bit more about Selenium WebDriver right now. Okay. So what is Selenium WebDriver? Think about it as some code that you have to write using Selenium WebDriver. So now the question is, where are you going to write that code? Of course, we all understood that we have an application here to test, and whatever this application is, it can be a shopping cart application from Amazon.com or from whatever. So some application it is that you have to test, right? So this is the application to test which you'll be testing. Now, in order to test that, in the previous class, we have used something called Selenium IDE, right? And using IDE, we record and we played or we ran those steps in there, and those steps over the internet, it went to the application, and then it did whatever it is supposed to do, and then we looked into it and we performed what is called an automated testing using IDE. So that was one part of it which we did. The next is supposed to be RC, but we are not doing right now. So I'm jumping on to something called a WebDriver, right? WebDriver. So what is WebDriver? How are we going to use it? For now, before I go in and try to give you the complete explanation of what is WebDriver, try and understand that this is going to be some small program. small program that either you have to create or write, right, or build yourself. Either you have to do it, with your own hands, or you can ready-made get it from someplace, right? Now, so this is more like a fast food, right? Ready-made. I mean, you drive to your McDonald's, drive to your favorite, fast food shop, and then get it. But can you survive only on fast food? I mean, you would become like 600 pounds, right? So nobody can just survive. I mean, it's okay once in a while to go and then have fast food, but then you don't live on fast food. I mean, you can come back and then make that case or argument that okay, half of America is doing that, but I mean, you know what I mean. So the idea here is we have to create it, we have to build it ourselves. So what are we talking about? We are talking about creating a small program or script. Which script? It is going to be the Selenium WebDriver script. So Selenium WebDriver script is nothing but a small program that will do the automation of a test case. Okay, you understood that? It will do the automation of a test case, right? If you have that small program. Now the question is, how do you get that small program? Okay, you can write, you can create that, or you can get it ready-made, right? Okay, so let's say if I have to create it, then you have to write it because it's a program, then you have to use some programming language to write it. So what programming languages you can use? Like yesterday we talked about it, or day before yesterday, like Java, or you can use C#.NET, you can use Perl, you can use Python, you can use Ruby, you can use any languages. Again, we will be discussing about this. Now you would say that why in the world would you not talk about C#, Perl, Python, Ruby? Again, not everybody, not every company out there is going to use, C#, Perl, Python, and Ruby. So the majority of the companies out there, they're going to be using Java. So that is the reason for us to do this course in Java. That doesn't mean that, you should not know how to do things in C# and Perl and Python and Ruby. In fact, majority of our other courses that we have, we cover every one of these languages. So if there is a serious interest in pursuing these languages and trying to know how to do things, then of course C# we use it quite intensely in another course called Coded UI with TFS, Team Foundation Server, and MTM, Microsoft Test Manager, and Coded UI. That's where we use we write our test cases in a language called C#. So you learn a lot of that, particularly for those of you folks who have taken multiple courses through our 6-course package or whatnot. Then you could just look into that. Ruby, I use it in my Ruby and Cucumber and all that. Python is used in there's another course we are coming up with called Grinder, like you grind your whatever you want to grind. So there is a tool called Grinder. It's a performance testing tool. So it uses a lot of Python. So we'll be doing that. Perl is occasionally used in some other tool like JMeter. We try to write some of our scripts using Perl or so many other languages. Now, coming back to this course is going to focus on Java. So there is a lot of misconception out there, and majority of you folks who are here might be like a little bit of a it's a little bit of a concern that okay, I don't know anything about Java, how am I going to learn, right? So to put those concerns to rest, what I will do today is I will show you, remember I showed you that in order to have that program, WebDriver, a small program, or that script that you have to you have the ability to create it yourself, right? Or you could create it ready-made. So of course, down the road, and in fact the rest of this all remaining sessions, we will be writing a lot of Java code, and I will assure you, I will give you assurance, I will guarantee you, almost everyone here will be able to write the scripts using Java, because I'm going to start you from A, B, C, D of Java, right? Very simple, straightforward, easy way of learning Java. I will give you everything, whatever is needed, and you will be able to do it. So today, I'm going to be focusing on how to create that script, ready-made script, right? How to create that. Well, so in order to get that script ready-made, right, so that you don't really have to write anything, you can go back again to IDE, and in IDE you can ask IDE, hey IDE, you have recorded everything, all my actions when I was doing this shopping cart application. You recorded everything, and you showed that as command, value, and target and all that. You said type, and type what? Type Panasonic into this txt search box. So those were a sort of commands. But behind the scenes, whatever actions which we have done, IDE converts that. IDE behind the scene converts those actions into code, or into that script. So what we have to do is we have to know that trick of going and then getting that code, which it automatically IDE is preparing. So IDE is a super guy. It can do a lot of things. It can not only record your actions and it can play back that, but it can also, behind the scenes convert that code into the code. So you have to know how to go and then take that code. So that's the ready-made code I was talking about. So you have to get that code. So I gave you the secret here that IDE is going to have that code. You have to get that code. Now the question is, if you have that code, what are you going to do with that code? You're not going to use IDE to run your code. IDE runs the commands. IDE doesn't run the code. So for the code, you have to take the code and you have to put it into another tool, That tool is called Eclipse. All right. Okay. Now that you know the story, now we will start to get into the details of the story. I'm going to show you how to get that code, and I'm going to show you where to get the Eclipse. And once you get the Eclipse, how to install it on your machine. And you cannot just take the code and then bring it and then just throw it in Eclipse. There is a process or a procedure that you have to follow to place this code inside Eclipse. All right. Okay. Now that you have some idea of where we are going with it, right? Let us go ahead and start to do this part, wherein I'm going to show you where the code is in Eclipse, in IDE. All right. Okay. And then I will show you where to get the Eclipse from, how to install it, and how to copy that code from IDE and put it into Eclipse and make it runnable. Runnable meaning that once you copy paste, chances are it is not going to run. So you have to do something to make it run. And eventually, once it runs, then we have what is called a WebDriver, Selenium WebDriver code that is going to do some automation. Right? So without even doing a lot of things, we already would get a ready-made code. Now that, again, I have told you this story, let me ask you if you have any questions, or if you have any understanding of or any concerns about, or any doubts about what I am going to do. If not, then let us get started, and let me show you how to do all that. Okay. So here we go. I'm gonna go to the application. Let's say we will go to the same application because I want to keep it a little bit easy in the beginning, and then later on we're going to be working with some complex applications. So here we go. We will go to this shopping cart application, and I will record my script. So I'm going to go to Tools, and I'm going to go to Selenium IDE. This is already in the record mode. See here, it is already now recording. So I'm just going to go and start to do the recording. So what am I going to record? I'm going to start off with going in here and typing. I'm looking for something, right? So let me say I'm looking for a TV, right? So TV is what I'm searching for. I'm going to click on Go. And as you can see, there's so many TVs in here, right? So I want to go ahead and get the Samsung TV. So I'm going to add the Samsung TV to the cart. So I add it to the cart. And as you can see, I have one Samsung TV over here. And now I can, rather than going and proceed to the checkout, I want to look at some other products. So I will say that register more products or search for more products. So I click on that and I come over here to the main screen and I want to take, let's say, this camera, some camera. So I'll take this, I like the design of this camera, so I'll take this camera and I add to the shopping cart. So I have a TV and I have a camera. So I'm happy with it, so I want to proceed to my checkout. So I click on that. And you saw yesterday about the shortcomings of this, right? So that we will fix in the second build 2. So developer had created this. So this is this. Let's make believe that this is build 1, and we will find some bugs in the build 1, and then he will go ahead and fix those bugs, and then we will have a release or the build 2 of it. And then once we have the build 2, we will do the regression testing. And for the regression testing, we will try to use the same script that we are creating right now as a part of build 1, and then we'll run those scripts on build 2 and see if those bugs or defects are fixed or not. Okay, so right now I'm continuing with this test of build 1. So I'm going to come in here, name, I will take any name, and then we'll put some name in here. So let's go with Nancy. I'm not going to put anybody's last name here, so you don't have to worry about it. So last name, I'll call it last name, because you might get upset if I put Smith there. Or maybe not upset. Maybe you would be happy. I don't know. So let's say she lives at 123 Main Street, and she lives, let's say, in Manhattan or in New York, and that is the address, and 212-555-1212. That's her phone number, and the Visa card is whatever is the Visa card, and the back of the card could be 1233, and this is 12/2015. Again, Nancy, and last name, and address could be different, 256 Clinton Avenue, and city is Brooklyn, and New York, and some zip code, right? And daytime phone number is 718-452-1478, something like that. And we will go ahead and then we will do what? We will submit the order. Once we submit the order, we have thank you for this order, right? So I want to take this order number and I want to, let's say, capture this order number. So that we will do later. So right now, that's my test case. So if I go back in here and if I look into it, well, it had produced whatever it had produced. What I have to do now is make sure that this is working script, right? So I'm gonna, again, this we already talked about, nothing new so far, but very soon you'll see the new part. So over here, I'm gonna say this is a test case of shopping cart, right? Shopping cart. And I'm gonna save this, and what I'm gonna do is I will just run it. So it doesn't matter where I am. I could be on my Yahoo site, and I will go ahead and then I will run it. Now you have done it as a part of your assignment, so there's nothing new in here. So here we go. It is doing it. I'm just gonna put it on the side in here so that you can see what is happening to us. Okay. So it is going to put all that information in here. And if I see it, it is doing all that. I see it is performing all those actions, and that light green, and then that beige color, and then so those are the commands. And eventually, after everything, I'll have a case. Okay, so my test case is a pass. So I have, it's not failing anywhere. So that's a working script. Very good. Here is the new part. All right. What we are going to do is all ears, all eyes.